Hello, okay, welcome back to Story Time. Hope you had a lovely half term, enjoying the sunshine. Hope you didn't get too sunburnt. So, picking up where we left off, the children had to scarper as quickly as they could in the jungle because they saw two guys on horseback and they thought they were part of the army guard. So they've left Ananda the elephant in the jungle because obviously that's a big thing and can't run as quickly as they could. They think they've lost them now they've ran through the jungle further enough, but they are completely and utterly lost as well. So that's where we're picking up from. So let's see how they get on. Chapter 21. Let's get out of here, said Chaya. Neil looked up to get his bearings, but the leaves above them were spread thickly and the gnarled trunks of the trees scuffled with each other for room in the damp knee-high undergrowth. The smell of decaying leaves filled the air. Wouldn't it be safer to stay here for a while, said Noir, coming up behind them. Not that I like it here, it gives me the shivers, but until we're sure they're gone. No, said Neil, we must leave. Chaya followed Noir and Neil as they squished past a trunk-furred with caterpillars towards sparser forest. Noir yelped and jerked to stop making Chaya bump into her. From the edge of the brook up ahead, a leopard stared at them, disturbed while lapping water. Chaya clamped her hand over Noir's mouth. She held on tightly as Noir struggled to run. Neil held up his hand. Keep still. Don't startle it. The leopard started kneeling at them. The leopard stared keenly at them, its rusty yellowed spotted body reflected in the water. Chaya took a deep breath to calm herself. She needn't be afraid. Man-eaters were rare, despite what she told Noir. Neil took gentle steps forwards. He waved a finger over his shoulders for them to follow. Chaya let go of Noir to give her a light prod. Noir moved forwards, whimpering under her breath. Neil took a curving path, staying well out of the way of the leopards. It turned its head, watching their progress. Chaya took the swallowest of breaths, making herself as quiet as possible. As long as they didn't make any sudden movements, they'd be fine. Make yourself big. Never cower down, Father had said. Noir stepped on the hem of her skirt and stumbled to the ground. The leopard growled and stiffened. Noir scrabbled about and sprang up with a yowl. The leopard made a sudden leap. Noir screamed, but it had leapt away from them, springing up to the bank on the smooth ground and sprinting away under the trees. Noir burst into tears. I'm so quiet, Noir, said Chaya. Let's get out of here first. They walked briskly on, and in 10 minutes they were out of the undergrowth and in the drier, less dense part of the forest. Chaya exhaled. You nearly got us killed there. Did you seriously think you could outrun a leopard? Go easy on her. She's not used to these things, said Neil. Noir, we're never out of danger here. All right, we have to stay calm. Noir nodded, shamefaced and subdued. Chaya felt a terrible itch on her leg and lifted up the edge of her skirt. A few fat leeches were studded on her shins. Ugh! Leeches are like slugs that kind of grip onto your skin and start sucking your blood. So not nice. What's that? Said Noir. Chaya dropped her skirt hurriedly. Nothing, she said. Neil frowned at Chaya. She could see a few blots of blood around the bottom of her sarong. What are you two hiding from me? Said Noir. She lifted up her skirt at that moment. A fat leech dropped down on her foot. It's nothing, said Neil. Just leeches. Noir gave a blood-curdling scream that disturbed the monkeys and sent a flock of birds flying into the sky. She stamped her feet and scrambled at her legs, but Neil pulled her hands off. Stop it. It'll only get infected if you pull them off. Are you mad? I need to get them off. Noir tried to claw at her legs, but Neil held her arms. No, Noir, their mouths will stay embedded in your skin if you do that. No. So what do I do? Noir stamped and wailed like a demented person. They'll drop off when they're full. Seriously, just give it a few minutes. Chaya sighed. She didn't want to tell Noir she told her so. We're okay here, she said to Noir. It's only the dampest part of the jungle that have them. Noir looked up at the sky and squeezed her eyes shut, tears seeping out of them as she wept silently. One by one, leeches started dropping from their legs. Noir, Chaya kicked away the blood-gorged lumps of leeches that had fallen off the girl. You're okay. They're all gone now. Look, you're fine. Nil looked surprised at Chaya's soft tone. It was almost as if she was starting to feel sorry for Noir, but Noir pushed Chaya away and stalked ahead. She was properly sobbing now, walking blindly with tears streaming down her face. After a few minutes she stopped and sat on a stone, sobbing down into her lap. So that's what you wanted salt for? I thought that you wanted to cook. I hate this place. I really hate this place. This jungle, this country, everything. Why did I come? I want to go home. Nil went and squatted down near her. You have no choice. It'll be better when... I did have a choice, screamed Noir. I didn't have to come, and you certainly didn't want me to. When the explosion came from the palace, all the monks rushed to see what was going on, and I went with them. My father must be sick with worry, and that's all my fault. Nil looked at Chaya with a frown. Chaya shrugged. She couldn't understand it either. But Noir, why did you want to come? Because I was a fool. I wanted to have what you two have. Noir was almost hysterical, muddy shrieks down her face and onto her blouse. You're always doing things, important, interesting things. I don't have any friends, only my father and nanny and servants, nobody else, not a soul. So I made you think I had to come with you. She rocked back and forth, her head in her hands. No wonder Noir had looked so guilty earlier. How incredibly stupid had she been? This was a life or death situation, and Noir had thrown herself into it because she didn't have any friends to do things with. How lonely must you be to do something like that? This was some level of recklessness, even by Chaya's own standard. Noir, listen. Chaya bent down and offered her a hand. We've got to go on. Come on, we've got to get moving. Noir stared at Chaya's hand and took it and got up unsteadily. We'll talk about this as we go along, okay? Said Nil. We don't have any time to lose. Noir nodded shakily. She was still teary and hiccupy, but stiffened and walked along with them. Yes, Nil's right. Chaya strode next to her. We'd better keep moving. The king's going to send all the men into the jungle now he knows exactly where we are. Chapter 22. Chaya glanced at Noir out of the corner of her eye as they walked. Apart from the occasional sniffle, it was quiet. Nil cleared her throat. We should stop for lunch, I guess. Anyone hungry? Silence from Noir. I am, said Chaya. Wish there was more of your sweets, Noir. They were so good. I agree, Nil nodded hard. Best sweets I've ever eaten. Noir shuffled along, looking at no one. Nil caught Chaya's eye. She shrugged. Noir would come around when she was ready to. How much of course do you think we are? How much off course do you think we are? Asked Chaya. Nil shrugged. Hopefully not much. If we keep heading south, we can still get to Gali, just by a slightly longer route. Chaya's heart sank. Now the guards knew they were in the jungle. They wouldn't stop searching until they found them. They stopped near a river and sat down on some large rocks, Noir staying as far away as possible from the bank. Nil got into the river and walked ahead, trying to catch the darting fish with his bare hands. Chaya wandered over to Noir and tried to get a fire going with 2 rocks and a few sticks, the way Nil had done. But 5 minutes later, she was still bashing them together, and after every smashing, and even after smashing a bit of a thumb, hadn't got so much of a spark. She turned to Noir and wiped her hair away from her sweaty forehead. Do you know how to do this, Noir? I wish I'd watched Nil do it when he was doing it. Noir shook her head without looking at Chaya. Chaya threw the stones into the river, where they bounced onto the rock and splashed into the water. Do you think he's all right? Said Noir in a small voice. Who? Nil. Chaya turned to see him splashing about in the water. Not Nilan. The elephant. Oh, Chaya shrugged. The king's men would have taken him back home, which is the best thing for him, really, since, he's been brought up in captivity. Noir nodded. Nil came clambering up to them, carrying 2 glistening silver fish. Thought you might have had the fire going. We tried, but it didn't work. Come on, Noir, let's get Nil some more sticks for the fire. Noir got up slowly and followed her. Chai collected branches and laid them in a pile, and Noir made trips back and forth, taking them to Nil. I think that's enough now. Chai threw the last of the sticks onto the pile. Noir gently poked some plants with her shoe. Have you seen this? The leaves fold up when you touch them. And they straighten out soon after. Chai came over to Noir. They're called touch-me-nots. Not a big deal, they're just weeds. Strange. Noir touched different parts over and over, watching the leaves curl up, then straighten out again. The world is full of amazing things. Plants that can feel, elephants that can swim, squirrels that can fly. I wish I knew all this stuff. You'll learn. I know. I've got to know so much already, Noir looked up at Chaya. I was wondering, could you teach me how to climb trees? Sure, Noir smiled. Thanks. I've just thought of what we can do if we see another leopard. We can climb a tree. Chaya sighed. Hey, Neil yelled. He had stuck the 2 fish on the stick and was holding it over the fire. Do I have to do everything around here? Chai scrambled up and took over from Neil. He went off and sat in the shade, fastening a sort of pitcher out of wood. It was scorching near the fire. Smoke curled around the fish and sighed at Chai's sighed at Chai's fingers. How long do you think I need to hold it like this? Noir shrugged. Until it looks cooked? I don't know. Chai held it closer to the flames. Wait, said Noir. I'm sure that should be enough now. Yeah, that should be okay. It looks nicely coloured. Coloured? Neil came over and slapped his forehead. Those look burnt. They probably taste good. Chaya put them on the leaves and passed one to Nil. And that's all that matters. She broke a piece off and took a bite. Oh! Neil spat out his mouthful. Noir put hers down without so much of a nibble. Honestly, it was a simple task. Neil rubbed the back of his hands on his tongue. Do I have to do everything? It's not a big deal. Chai got up and tossed the charred fish away. Let me find some fruit or something. People make mistakes, Neelam said Noir, shaking her head at a surprised Neil. She stood up and went with Chai. I'll help you look. Oh, Chai was lost for words. Thank you. And they went off to find some food together. And we'll stop there. So the girls look like they're finally getting along. Chai's learnt to sympathise, and yeah, Neelan's a bit shocked with it all. So I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see if they ever get out of the jungle without being attacked by more leopards. Bye.